So now let's get back to that list, okay? Now let's talk a little bit about the other list, which is the list of people that you owe money to, okay? Those are your creditors, right? People that have credited you or issued you credit, right? So if you have a car note, if you have a mortgage, if you have a credit card, if you have a... What other kind of stuff do people borrow money on?
I mean, furniture.
Yeah, okay.
You
if
go
you've
to a
got like
furniture store, I mean,
right. There you go.
Like an appliance store or whatever, just anything like that, where like to throw out a Best Buy or a Home Depot.
If you're making payments on new flooring or you've got an RV or so those are all creditors. So make your creditors list. Okay. Now, remember my strategy, right? Baseball. We're staying on offense as long as we can. Sometimes you got to send up a pinch hitter, okay? What we're doing with this list is we're making a list, first and foremost, of everybody we owe money to, okay? And then we're going to contact each one of those people. Now, I'm going to go ahead and warn you, the banks are overwhelmed, okay?
Good luck getting through.
Again, and I'm doing this, okay? We have a mortgage. But
remember what we said.
Remember
what
we filed a week ago. And
I called today and I couldn't get through.
I can make the payment to my mortgage right now, okay? But baseball strategy, okay? If they're going to offer me some sort of program that will allow me to defer and there's no penalty, meaning like there's no extra interest or I don't get credit damage or something for a couple months, I might take them up on that because I don't know what the income situation is going to look like in the next week, month, year. I mean, we're all sort of trying to figure this out, right? So
these are strategies.
Let's just put all our entire team line up right on the list, and let's figure out who we can substitute. Okay, so so that's where this making contact comes in. You're probably going to have to go to their website and send them a message. Some of them have chat in an app or a smartphone app. Sometimes that'll work. They're all different. You're just going to have to work off that list and update it when you contact each one of them. The phone is probably going to be the most difficult, okay?
Can I say that why I think that is so important, that what you just said, that strategy? If they are allowing you to defer, say for 90 days, and you don't have to let go of that liquid asset that you have, that cash, if you don't have to let it go and it stays in your bank account, the reason why that is so important is because at this present time, we are evolving so quickly, we have no idea when the end date is. We don't know yet.
And I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about let's make sure we got money to pay the groceries, if and the water and electric and the food, shelter,
sense.
Right? Just going through this. Right. So you're absolutely right.
Well, and the other thing is that factor. If we're all human, and don't feel guilty about doing this, people, because I know people out there that do. They feel guilty about it.
Time for the pride thing.
Time for the pride thing. Get it, throw it out the window, because right now you have to concentrate on your business and your family, and that is why these things are in place. Do not let it bother you. Just take advantage of it, because that's what this is for. If
you have a credit card and you call, now I have a credit card that I use for business, and I called them up and they said, yeah, we'll just basically we're just going to move it out 30 days. We're not going to charge you any more interest. We're not going to damage your credit. We're not going to file anything negative. We're just going to basically let you have a pass on this month's bill. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
And then you can call us back next month and we might change that. This is the problem. Remember, okay, back to the beginning when I was complaining and I said it's a word that starts with S and ends with show, okay?
Right.
There is no regulation going on right now. So you have some lenders playing extreme hardball and refusing to budge. And you have other lenders who are being extremely sympathetic, and they will work with you. And there's no rhyme or reason as to who or why in terms of like predicting which ones are going to be easier to work with. That's why you've got to make your list.
That's right. And I want, while you're going through this process, make yourself a note of who is helping you and who isn't, because maybe you need to think about where you want to do business.
That's a good point. Yep.
So creditors,
it's telling you right now, how we treat people when
That's right. So just saying, right?
Okay.
Good point.
So again, we're just trying to defer the ones that we can and shuffle things around a little bit. All right. Now, I found through a couple of my inside connections, again, from working in the financial industry, that they are listening a lot of times for certain terms like loss of work due to COVID-19, loss of income due to the coronavirus shutdown, mandated shutdowns, jobs lost, all that. So you need to make sure that you don't assume that they're going to know that you're calling them because you can't work because of the coronavirus shutdown. You have to tell them that, and you have to use those words. And sometimes they won't do anything for you until you say those magic words. So remember that.
Example. Hey, creditor.
Wait. Hang on. Let's do that. I like these. You know the role play thing we sometimes do.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do, go ahead.
Bring. Hello, Bank of Montana. This is Joe Bob. How can I help you?
Hey, Joe Bob. Yeah, this is Jay, man. Look, man. I can't make my payment this month, and was wondering if you could let that go out another month.
Jay, you said your name was Jay?
Yeah.
What's your mother's? No, I'm just kidding. I see you've already passed our verification step before you got to me. So hi, Jay. Yeah. So Jay, we're normally not in the habit of just letting people not pay their bills. Is there some particular reason?
Oh gosh, I should have said this early on, man. I'm so sorry. Let me start all over again. So I've recently had to close my business because the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm a non-essential business, and I basically can't keep my doors open right now. I have loss of wages. I have a loss of a lot of things, and I really need for you guys to help me out in this particular situation to see if I can. Is there something that you can do for me, since I've basically lost my livelihood because of this pandemic? Is there something you can do?
Well, Jay, I'm really sorry to hear about that. It sounds like a pretty bad situation. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do for you here because we're a really horrible bank. But I did hear that if you check out the Parts Counter Gurus podcast, they might be able to offer you some advice on some good strategies to stay afloat during these difficult times. Thanks for calling.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, don't forget to take the survey. Click.
That's good. But you see, the point is, I wanted to give you an example of just being very vague. And the analogy I give for that is like telling someone to go fix you some toast and not telling them where the bread is or the toast
or how done you want it,
or how done you want it. I mean, there's so many ways to that. That's the
point. And I have had that very, even though I chose to be, to play hardball with you for entertainment purposes, of course. I have had those very words that you said work positively in terms of the outcome with some of these creditors. So remember that. Yes. Now, sometimes, like a one-time through the life of your loan. So, like, let's say you have a credit card, and this has been around for a long time. This isn't like something new to the coronavirus. But like sometimes on car loans or credit cards, they will let you change the date of your payment when your bill is due, and they'll let you do that one time, like for every 5 years, or one time for the life of the loan or whatever. Well, why not take them up on that right now? Like, just go, hey, I'm not asking you to forgive the loan. I'm not asking you to extend it. I'm not asking you to waive anything. If you won't do any of those things, then can we maybe just look at changing the due date and let's push it out another 30 days? Like, do you offer that as a one-time thing?
Right. And yeah, exactly. And even if not in crisis, that's a good thing to do because your financial situation is always evolving.
Remember.
And so, yeah.
Keep sending batters up to the plate.
Yeah.
As long as you can.
Man. Offense. Yeah. Offense.
Yep. If they say no and you got to pay the bill and empty the account, now you've taken an out, right? Now you've got two batters left, okay? You got two more outs, maybe more than two batters. Okay, so changing the date is another option. Now I'm going to throw out some of these sites here. If you're looking for part-time work or work from home work, or if you have a certain set of skills that especially there's a lot of stuff that's in demand right now that people that are stuck at home need help with. Check out websites like Upwork, Tackle, which is TAKL. I actually know some of the guys that started that.
Right.
Tackle is more of a, I need somebody to paint my fence or install guttering or...
Yeah, get creative, but just understand the limitations that you may have there with the social distancing. But there may be somebody out in the country that has to have a fence repaired.
If you're willing to do grocery runs, you go post some of that stuff, man, and say I'll do it for you.
Pizza delivery.
I mean,
delivering food.
You've got to kind of be your own promoter here, right? Just come up with, be creative.
Yeah. And I can tell you, LinkedIn has been a really good resource as well. I want to throw those guys out there because that's been a good resource, and they are actively monitoring this situation, and they have just huge amounts of information.
Any networking that you can do right now is going to help you. Fiverr is another one for odd jobs, like FIVRR, I think it is. So interestingly enough, Jay, we are seeing a shift to, I call it the Ubering of jobs. And I've been predicting this for a couple years now, and this might push us further along in that direction. But the days of sort of dad working his entire life for, General Electric and, retiring from General Electric, and that's the only job he's ever had since college or whatever, those days are kind of gone. And now it's more of a, like when my 10-year-old son gets older, I fully expect him to have 3 or 4 jobs, like, continually. Like, he'll be doing this, and he'll be doing... And I'm already one of those guys. I've been that way most of my adult life. But that's a real thing, and it's going on, and there is no reason why you can't participate in that right now.
Absolutely. And, can I suggest, too, that through this whole process, if you've been wanting to make a career change...
Yeah. Get out there.
Make a career change. Get out there. Just do some things differently.
Working at Home Depot may not bring you in enough to pay the bills for your whole family, but working at Home Depot and then, on your 2 days off a week or whatever, getting on Tackle or getting on Upwork and doing some consulting work for whatever you're good at, that might make the difference. So, you've got to diversify yourself a little bit.
That's exactly right. That was one of the first pieces of advice you gave me several years ago. Diversify, old man.
All right, some other stuff. I have noticed that some of the banks and the credit unions are having what they call low-interest emergency loans. Sometimes you do not have to be an existing customer. So you just have to literally just go out there and use Google and start searching on keywords like emergency loans and see what some of these credit unions are offering, and then just go apply.
Yeah, and to that, on that note about if you're an existing customer, in the beginning of all this, there was some confusion. As banks didn't really, this is federally, this is backed by the feds, this money. Okay, and so early on it was, if you're not a customer, you can't get a loan from us.
Okay, I'm just gonna go nuts in a minute on that, but
and so just to bring that up, that we've gotten past a lot of that, and so again, this is such an evolving situation. So you have to pay attention to the different regulations that are involved, requirements, classifications. There's so many pieces to this puzzle, but I think that most people will be successful in getting a loan, some way, shape, or form if you're persistent with it, staying at the plate.
Now back to the mortgage thing for just a minute. I forgot to mention this earlier, but certain types of mortgages, and there's a lot of different types of mortgages out there. So, for example, if you're a veteran, there's certain loan programs that you would qualify for. If it's HUD, there's certain loan programs, right? Okay. So, Fannie and Freddie, Fannie, Sally, Freddie, I don't know.
Fannie and Freddie.
Here's the thing. If it's a government subsidized loan, a mortgage, I should say, they have certain things already in place that say there is some forbearance programs. So depending on the kind of mortgage that you have, some of these lenders, regardless of who the lenders are, have to play by certain guidelines. So you need to figure out, if you don't already know, what kind of mortgage you have, okay? And we'll put a link. I'll put a link to this one on our mentioned on the podcast page as well, because it goes through the different kinds of mortgage programs, and if yours is this kind, here's the relief options you have. So that's an important fact. Know what kind of mortgage you have, and then you can look at options for relief.
Right. That's an important point.
All right. So back to your thank you. So back to your point, where I'm just trying to race through this, Jay, as fast as I can.
Well, I mean, again, yeah, we could probably have a 6-hour podcast here, just trying to sort through all of the things that you have to go through.
There's a lot in here.
There's a lot in here. So we hope that in this sort of condensed version that we're going to give you some of the tools you need. And again, I will reiterate that after you listen to this podcast or watch this podcast, you can find this information, some of these links, to hopefully help you out on our website, and that will be mentioned on the podcast link on our website, which is partscounterguru.com.
There you go. So okay, so just a couple final things that I've got anyway. So this Bank of America thing that you brought up. So I think the takeaway here is just don't wait, because here's some numbers for you. The PPP program that was released a week ago Friday, by Monday morning, Bank of America had received 177,000 applications. That's one business day from Friday to Monday.
Wow, just wow.
For a total of $32.6 billion in loans. And they were only letting people through the door at that time that were existing customers, okay?
Right. Wow.
That's 10% of that. Remember that bucket that we talked to? And by the way, that bucket's $349 billion with a B.
Right.
So now 10% of that bucket in one business day was gone. Okay.
Right.
That's
right.
It's gonna be gone quickly. Okay. The Small Business Administration said by Tuesday of that week they'd had 275,000 applications, which brought it up to 75 billion. Okay. So here's the problem. Okay, so not to speak ill of anyone, but I have had a business relationship with Bank of America for a long time as a partner, as a business partner, meaning for a very long time, one of my jobs was that I would come in and Bank of America would have customers, and the customer would say, well, we need this technological thing done, and Bank of America would say, well, we don't really do that, but our partner Keith does, and that would help Bank of America, because then they would be able to retain that customer, or they could close the deal that they were working on, and I would fill that gap or fill that need of whatever that customer wanted. If you're trying to do business with Bank of America right now, God bless you. I wish you the best. I wouldn't. Knowing what I know and having them as an actual business partner, and looking at some of the practices that they're trying to pull right now by basically refusing that they only do business with existing customers. And this is another one that they pulled, and I love this one. They basically said, okay, well, never mind, we'll change this. We didn't mean if you only had an account with us and you were an existing customer, we'll just open it up, but just as long as you don't have a borrowing relationship with another bank.
With another bank, right? You can't. You can't. We don't want to deal with you if you're competing against us. We don't want to. Yeah, it's. It makes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, let's think about this for a second. Who in the world doesn't have an existing lender relationship with some?
Right.
Mortgages are done through banks. Car loans are done through banks. Credit cards are banks.
Most of us are going to have credit cards with one institution, mortgage with another institution, and a personal or business account with another institution.
So they've just excluded practically 100% of everyone.
Exactly.
This is insane. This is why. And by the way, at some point, Bank of America said to me in our relationship, hey, you know that thing you were doing for us that you were really good at and we had a very high success rate? We're going to start doing that ourselves. And I went, yeah, you don't know how to do it. And they went, oh, we got this. Hold my beer. A year later, they completely got out of the game. They did not know what they were doing. They burned so many bridges. Basically, I like to say they just got into the pool with diarrhea, and everybody got out.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and there's limitations to institutions that could actually help you. fine example. We all remember what Wells Fargo went through.
Okay.
Years ago.
So they got in a lot of trouble for playing some kind of dirty.
Yeah, they were basically, it was a sales, gig. Basically, they were opening up accounts for people, and the people didn't even know they had an account. Next thing you know, they've got this account. They're getting statements. What is this? Well, they got in a lot of trouble over that. And because of that, the feds basically put a cap on their growth. So Wells Fargo couldn't exceed, I think 10 billion was their max growth. And with this that has come, so they had to limit who they could loan money to, which were existing accounts and small business with like 50 employees or less, to help them be part of this, but they couldn't exceed the max. But my understanding is, through a source, is that Wells Fargo, the feds have relaxed that for this specific reason only, because they've realized it's a help to the American people and not necessarily something that they have gone out and done on their own to go get more. So I'm thankful for the feds to pop into there and say, hey, we're going to relax this for you guys so you can help the American people out.
Yes.
So there's those instances.
On a personal note, I have a friend that literally jumped on the bandwagon early with this, and I don't know who their bank was. I suspect it might have been Wells Fargo, and it might have been before this cap got relaxed. But they were told by their bank, we're out of money. We're out of money. Now, look, we can't loan anymore, meaning like we've exhausted the amount that we're allowed to loan through this program. Remember, guys, keep sending batters up to the plate. Okay. If this guy over here doesn't want to play ball, that doesn't mean you quit. Take your toys and go home. That means you go find someone else to send up to the plate. Go reach out to another bank.
That's right. Right.
So there's a couple good websites that we'll add to this very long list that we're going to be putting of resources. This is some good stuff, guys. Like, we've spent a lot of time putting this together. Please use it. Please go to partscounterguru.com. Check the mentioned on the podcast tab. Find some of this stuff. We hope it helps you. But there's a really good one for advice that's coming from consumerfinance.gov. So it's a federally run site. And who better than to hear some of the facts and details than from the horse's mouth, right? Or horses.
Right. That's exactly right. They're the ones that are setting the rules.
Okay.
And changing the rules. So I would recommend if you're in process or have done it, let's just say you've applied and you've gone through and you were able to get through, I would still check this thing because some of those things may have changed and you may qualify for the change of that benefit. So don't stop there.
Yes.
Do not stop there. Continue to send batters to the plate.
Now, I've got another site that we'll link to. This is pretty good. It's from thesimpledollar.com, and this is the most concise list that I could find of banks. And remember, credit cards are banks, okay?
Yeah.
And all financial institutions and their current policies in terms of kind of what options they're offering people that are affected by this. And it's got a pretty big list. Citi, Wells Fargo, Capital One are all on there. U.S. banks on there, PNC, Truist, Discover. There's some online-only banks on there like SoFi. And so this has got a pretty, good, like it lists out for each one what their policies are and if there's any options for you, what you have to do to participate in those. So we'll link to that. And then the last thing that I've got, Jay, and this was, I don't even know what made me think of this the other day, but I'm always just trying to like basically look at things through, a different lens. Look, if you're out of work and you're just trying to figure out how to make ends meet, look at who's doing well right now, okay? Who's busy, okay?
Yes.
Government, apply for a government job, okay? Why not?
Right. Yeah.
Amazon, grocery stores, pizza delivery. There's a lot of industries right now that are very, very busy. Believe it or not, Home Depot and Lowe's are crazy hiring. FedEx is crazy hiring. UPS is hiring. They're getting overwhelmed with job applications, but look, if you're out of other options here and you're trying to generate revenue, again, just trying to send somebody up to the plate, get on the government website and look for some government work, man. I mean,
right. Even if this is not a guaranteed permanent position for you, if it's something that you can do for a few months to get you by until you can get back to some sort of normalcy, you should still do this. You know, it's very important. You know, I've done a lot of things that I haven't really cared to do in my life as a position, but it was a solid paycheck, and I was able to keep a roof over my head and food on the table, and that's the most important thing.
Things are going to be so different for all of us in 3 to 6 months that what you do today and next month.
Right.
There's no rule that says that you have to continually do that. The whole world is doing this right now. There's people taking jobs and then they're gonna transition. And you know, in a way, man, it's kind of a nice reset button, right? Like, I know it's easy for me to say. So. I mean, I know there's people watching this that are having a hard time and they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay their grocery bill, but you've got an option here. Okay, so a good friend of mine who was affected by the tornadoes here in Tennessee, and he's an athletic director.
Yes, and I thank you for sending me the article I read. Oh, and awesome.
They lost. He had been there, I think, 22 years. I know some of the backstory, the meticulous planning to get some of these new athletic facilities built. You know, trying to get the budget dollars, years of sort of campaigning for that. Leadership at his private school, this is K through 12, I think, you know, had changed on and off. Some of the leaders weren't in line with it. Some were bigger fans than others. And then overnight, tornado comes through, wipes out the entire school. All the buildings are gone, all the athletic facilities, everything's gone, okay?
Just
he goes and interviews the paper, and they say, you know, what are you going to do? And he goes, look, man, we got a job to do better this time. We just hit the reset button, and that baseball field over there that was right next, that shared like third base with the softball field, I don't want to do that again. Like, that was not the best scenario.
Right.
So we're going to do it better this time. This guy has lost everything that he worked, well, not everything, but the things you can see that he worked on for the past 22 years, and his attitude was, all right, so we get to reset and do better.
That's it. Lemons, lemonade. Lemons, lemonade.
All right, so yes, I know that you've got a ton of social media stuff you want to put out there. I've actually got something a little positive. We do a lot of like promotional stuff on the show where we talk about things you can buy and so on. I've got a free one. You want to do that and then do the social stuff, or you want to do the social stuff and then that?
Let me do the social stuff real quick, but first, you know, let me say this, that and Keith said this in the beginning of this podcast, that we are not financial experts. We just are living life just like you guys are, and we have creditors that we have to deal with, and we're offering you guys the best information that is available to us through, in some cases, personal experience, but through in other cases where that information is available to us. So we're trying to facilitate that information to get to you. That's what we're doing this for. So just keep that in mind. I would also like to let you guys know, you know, if you're not in the automotive industry, it really doesn't matter. You can still go to this website.
Yep.
They are a wealth of resources, which is SEMA.org. SEMA has on their website a lot of information there that is free to you to look at. So I encourage you in the automotive industry, or the engine rebuilding industry, or this industry period, go to SEMA.org. You can also, if you're an AERA member, you can reach out to those guys. If they have information, they will certainly give that to you. And I think that this is not their first rodeo. They'll be able to put you in touch with somebody or refer you to something that will help you out. So I wanted to share
and just
those
look,
guys.
But if you're a veterinary clinic or a dentist office or something seemingly unrelated, those programs can still be utilized by your business.
By your business. Yeah, don't let that. So that's why I wanted to throw that out there. There's some resources for you. So, all right. So first and foremost, you can find out what I just mentioned. We'll just put a SEMA.org link up there for you or whatever. But you can check us out over on PartsCounterGuru.com. You can find what we talked about on Mentioned on the Podcast, there's a tab up there. Just reach out to us there, Mentioned on the Podcast. You'll see all that information there. Keith will get all that up for you. And thank you, man. I can't thank you enough for all the hard work you do behind the scenes back there. But
You're welcome.
Why don't you follow us on Facebook? We are at facebook.com/Parts Counter Gurus. We're also on Instagram. That would be instagram.com/The Parts Counter Gurus. You can check us out on Twitter. Our handle on Twitter is @TheCounterShow. That is @TheCounterShow. You can also check us out on YouTube, where you'll find the video version of this over on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus. When you're there, subscribe to continue to get notified by ringing the bell. Ooh, chicka,
I had that and forgot to use it the whole show, so there it is.
That's okay, man. Yeah, we're hoping that you're going to hear those sounds in your business. That's what we hope that you hear. So, but anyway, there we are. That's all of our social media platforms. You can check out our podcast. You can check that link out on partscounterguru.com as well. The audio podcast, we're on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. We're on just about every platform you can check. So thanks for listening, guys. Thank you.
So what have I not covered, Jay, that you were hoping that I would throw out there? Or what did you want to talk about that we didn't get to? Or what's on your list? Or what have we... I mean, there's no way we could possibly get through everything, but is there anything important that we need to get to?
Oh, wow, my goodness, man. I mean, we've covered what we could possibly cover. I mean, I could go in a ton of different directions, but we're trying to keep it to a minimum. But,
this is the fullest.
You've covered a lot.
This is the full. I mean, I don't know. We do a lot of content. There's so much in this. All right, so I've got something free to talk about. Free. Okay.
I'm listening.
Have you ever heard this saying? Whomever gets emotional first in a negotiation is at a disadvantage, or if there's a disagreement.
I have.
Okay.
Yep. Keep your cool.
So, I've got if you're an Amazon Prime member, there's a book out right now, and I just printed the page out because you can download this. Like, you don't have to go buy the paperback. You can just download the book like onto your laptop or your iPad or your phone. They've got a Kindle app. It's free. I use it.
It's an ebook,
you can just read it.
Yeah.
Okay, but they sell a paper version, but the ebook version is free right now. If you haven't,
and how can they get?
Oh, right.
Can they get to that through our
so
website?
It's going to be on the Mentioned on the Podcast link. But look, if you're going to Amazon, just go to the homepage of our website at partscounterguru.com and support the show. Click on the Amazon link in the top right hand corner, and then go do your shopping.
And
right?
Do they just have to buy?
You buy whatever you want. It doesn't cost you any more.
Does anybody know what I'm buying when I get on there?
They don't know who you are. So,
okay.
There might be a report that says that you bought those those buttless chaps.
Pink booties. Yeah, pink booties, yeah.
But it won't say J in the, it'll just, So, no, it's anonymous. It helps us, though. We get the affiliate credit. So, please, if you're not already doing that, consider doing it. Thanks for the reminder, Jay. So, the book is called... I don't know if I can read it and... Wow, this is hard. How do these people that read to children do it? Okay.
Is it Master Your
Emotions, a practical guide to overcome negativity and better manage your feelings. Okay? So, why is this important? Because right now we're all going through a lot of extra stress. And there are scientific and medical studies that show that your immune system gets weakened if you go through a lot of stress, an excessive or... an unusual amount of stress. And likewise, if you laugh, it's actually helpful to you. So this is just a good practical tool that I thought, look, while you're sitting around with that extra work from home time, especially if you're already a reader and you're looking for something to read, work on yourself, man. How about a little self-help? Like, this is a great tool that you will use in your career. It control your emotions. If you get upset and you're trying to work through, something with a coworker or a client, or you've got somebody upset with you and they're a client of yours, this is a great tool to help you sharpen your tools. So it's free if you're an Amazon Prime member. A lot of people are. Again, I'll put a link to it on our website under the mentioned on the podcast for this podcast.
Right. That's a good point, man, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I need to check that out, by the way. But also during this time, I do want to mention something else, and that you talked about it, is that I know that these are tough times for a lot of people, but there are people you can talk to. Don't go through this alone. There are phone numbers. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get that up. We actually have that up. We have that. Do we still have that posted from?
Yeah, there's a video out there, and it's on our Facebook page, but it might be buried down a little bit because it's been a while. We did it around the Christmas holiday. But you're talking about the depression hotline and
depression hotline. Yeah, here it is. It's it's 800-273-8255. That's a good one to utilize. Just if you're feeling stressed and tough, it's tough.
You're right.
Trust me, you're not alone. You are with millions of Americans right now that are going through some tough times. So don't feel alone. Please don't feel alone. Please reach out. You know what? We've got you can reach out to us on here, and we can put you in touch with someone. Just saying.
Yeah.
We
ask us a question tab on the website.
Yeah. You are not alone. So just want to throw that out there as well. So, but
thanks.
Thanks for that book, man. I'll have to check that one out.
Just trying to do what we can.
Learn how to be a better.
Well, it's
learn how to deal. Learn how to deal with my personal dealings.
No matter what level of black belt you are, Jay, there's always another level, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is true.
So never in a million years would I have. This is kind of one of the fun things in life for me. Never in a million years would I have expected a month ago if you would have said to me, Keith, you're going to be using one of your favorite quotes that you use with your Little League baseball team at the end of a Parts Counter Gurus podcast. I'd have been like, what you talking about, Willis?
What are you?
Because I just wouldn't see how they would apply. But I feel like because today's theme was around, remember, folks, keep sending people up to the plate and just do it as long as you can, and good things will happen.
Yes.
So there was a famous Major League player. I'm not even a Yankees fan, but hopefully you all know who Derek Jeter is. Is everybody okay? Everybody know who Derek Jeter is? He used to play for the Yankees, Hall of Famer, I think. I believe he was recently inducted.
Great person, too.
So this is what I tell my kids, and they're sick of hearing me say it, but it's such a good life lesson for them because they think I'm just trying to teach them about baseball.
Right. They don't understand the life lessons that come along with baseball.
Right. So here's the quote, folks. So Derek Jeter said, "There may be people who have more talent than you do, but there's no excuse for anyone to work harder than you do. Remember that. Right now is your time to get back to work. Don't wait until things get opened up. You got to do the work now. There may be people that can do it better than you, but listen to Derek Jeter. Don't listen to me. Listen to Derek Jeter."
Thanks, Coach Keith.
Man. All right, everybody. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. We will see you very soon. Remember to ring the bell to get notified for when that very soon is. Until next time, that is my podcast partner, Jay, over there. I am his spirit animal, Keith. We'll see you soon.
Love it. Take care, guys.
You should see the looks I get when I wear this one out to, out in public.